Hello, welcome back. Ryan's Thoughts and Cars. Another successful day. Finished work, second primary job. Got lots of calls this week about more work. More work. I am absolutely happy about that. And I don't have to work myself to death. So, all of my jobs deal with seniors. When I was in university or high school, even, they were saying, the most, the world's largest population is about to retire, the baby boomers. Find something in that field, and everybody thought, healthcare, right? Of some sort. I was a tradesman, and then I went to university. I was in psychology, and even the professors were saying, hey, the largest population. What's that noise? Oh, it's that. Okay. Largest population is retiring. Find something that'll do something for seniors. And as a tradesman in school for being a psychologist, I couldn't figure it out. Little did I know that while working for the Department of National Defense, in between contracts, I'd pick up a job where I was driving, a handy bus. Seniors and mobility challenged. I just thought, hey, it was close to it was literally like I had just had to walk there. It was one of the first jobs I could ever do that at, and one of the best jobs I ever had. I'll say, it was one of the best jobs, sort of, because I found out working with the people was amazing, absolutely amazing. Not the people at the job, but the passengers, dealing with everybody. There was very few people that were grumpy and upset, but just in general, like they were so happy and grateful that the service was there, sort of thing for them. Uh, the workplace itself was fairly toxic. Well, I'm not going to say toxic. It was just a bunch of bus drivers, of course, or whatever, right? The company had bought it and bought them out. But the thing was, is that in our training, it didn't match what was actually going on. So in our training, we were told, you take care of the customer, the rider. We were to walk them to the doors and pick them up at their door, right? Their place of residence, the front door. And when we dropped them off, we had to make sure that they got through the doors, right? All kinds, and help them do things, help them up the stairs, help them buckle their seatbelt, just and somewhat be sociable with them. Not while you're driving, sort of thing, but on the walks to and from the doors. Like I liked it so much, and I was doing so well. I got so many compliments. I had family members tipping me money. The one Christmas I worked, I got the most amount of tips out of every driver. Then after the year was over and we were in the next season, the snow had ended, and I did have incidents with my bus. Like I did hit it against things. Like things in Victoria are tight, and we had these great big shuttle buses we were driving around in, and I hit stuff. And then you log it, and they tell you to log it. Well, then I got hauled in the office for some things, and when I said, you know, the care of the customer comes first, which is what we were taught in training. I'm talking with the president guy, the whoever was in charge there, the main guy. I'm sitting in that office, and we went through, what are you doing out there, sort of thing, and I'm like, this is what I'm doing. And I said, in training, I was taught, you know, the care of the customer comes first. And he said, no, it doesn't. Absolutely not. I said, well, then why put it in the training? Why are you telling people that then? And he didn't answer me. He didn't answer me. He gave me this long-winded non-answer of, checks and balances, and because I would drop these people off and I would walk them to their door, and quite a lot of them had said, oh, you know, normally the drivers don't do this. I said, what, really? I said, that's what we're supposed to do. That's our mandate. Like that's part of the service here that we provide. And all the trainers, that was the thing. You know, after I hit a couple of things, I had to go and have a ride around with another trainer again. And he goes, there's nothing wrong with what you're doing here. I said, okay, fine, right? That's fine. But here's the other thing too I noticed about that job. They tell you to ignore dispatch because time, like the time was tight. Like we had too many customers, not enough buses. They were sending out over 100 cabs a day to fill in, which they shouldn't have to. Well, I don't know how to explain that one other than I'd be sitting in the I'd be sitting in the bus, and I'd have a trainer, and I did like 2 weeks of training with the buses because I wasn't sure how to deal with customers, all kinds of situations, sort of thing. And I didn't know Victoria that well by memory. And we had to know it by memory because we couldn't use navigation stuff. And if we did, it was the one that we had was kind of useless. Anyway, dispatch would be going off. Hey, can you pick this person? Can you pick this? Can you pick this? Can you pick this person? Can you pick this person up? And I'd have my trainer say, no, don't, no. They take the radio and say, no, we can't do that. No, we can't do that. No, we can't do that. And then telling me on the side saying, don't listen. The dispatch is going to try to pressure you. All right, they're going to try to overload or get your route, so full that you don't have time to stop to take a piss. Right? And then what'll happen is that you'll take these people on. Then you'll have to run and take a piss or stop and, eat something. And then you'll be behind, and then you'll have dispatch yelling at you, kind of thing. He goes, it's more important that you take your time with the customers and get them to and from the doors. And so the stories I was getting was when these trainers were riding with other people, they were telling me that they would just drop these old people off, or these people in wheelchairs, they would just get them off the ramp and then take off. They wouldn't make sure they got into a door or anything safely, right? So when I got hauled into the office there to talk about my driving, I figured, it wasn't about, my accidents or anything like that. It was because I wasn't taking extra people for dispatch. Like I wasn't performing. I guess that was his big beef, the big cheese there. That was his big beef. Like I don't know. I don't care. What I did is I ended up quitting. You know, and I really enjoyed the job. Actually, I really enjoyed the job, and I'm gonna say pressure. The pressure was too high, and I wasn't in the right frame to do the job, to say no, to tell, my employers to go fuck themselves so that I could do my job. Right? I'm just, I don't know. I was just, in my head, I'm thinking, everybody knows what's going on here. Everybody knows the drivers are over, I don't know what you call it, overextended. The dispatchers are overextended. There's not enough buses for so many people. Why keep putting pressure on the employees to keep doing? Because they were going through people like crazy. Like, I went to a hiring fair. Well, a hiring fair. They just had an open house thing, and I just said, "Hey, what's this? What's this? What's that?" And he said, "Yeah, sure, I'll give it a go." And I don't know. I gave it a go, and I really enjoyed working with the seniors and stuff. Right. So, which is what got me my first job out here, which was driving a senior bus. It's basically a senior bus with a wheelchair thing on it. Man, I love doing that job. I really do. And the reason I'm bringing this up today, the senior thing, is I was at my primary part-time job, and I was putting these little hooks in the bathrooms for this. Doesn't really matter for cleaning toilets for the staff when they have to go in and clean toilets. I have to put this little hook on the wall and a hanging brush. But as I was doing this, one of the ladies who works there was there on her own time, and she's happy, bubbly, positive, that sort of thing. Can't remember what she said to me exactly or how it came up, but she commented saying, if I can make somebody smile, if I can make one of these, make the seniors smile today, one of these seniors smile today, she goes, that's totally worth it. That's why I love doing this job, right? And I've said it before. I don't know if I've said it in these videos or one that I've posted, but seeing that happiness, that glow that these people have, and it's not because I did something. It's not because of that. It's not the praise. It's nothing like that. It's just seeing how happy somebody is what makes it worthwhile for me too. You know, say something in the comments if you know what I'm talking about, or if your job that if there's something like that happens at your job where you really enjoy it because something like that happens every now and again. I don't care if you do taxes for people or you're an accountant or something like that, but then at the end of whatever it is you do and you see the customer and they go, oh my, oh geez, thank you so much, it's da, 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 da. And they're just, not that they're giving you the praise, but because they're so happy, they're so relieved, you can see the brightness coming out of them. you know I, you know I, and it's kind of funny that every job that I got now is with seniors. It has to do with seniors. Every all three jobs, whatever, five employers that I got, every time, every time. Even when I'm late, even when the ride goes bad, nobody is super upset. Nobody, like, we've had some brutal rides, like, 2.5 hour ride to the city for a doctor's appointment, and then 2.5 hour ride back home through mind-numbing traffic and highways and dismal weather, and at the end of it, they're so happy that they could do this. They were just so happy they could get it done. And this was available, and everything went to plan. It was all smooth, and it's worth it just for that. You know, Thanks for listening. That's 50 in 2025. It took me 50 years to find a job that I really, really enjoy. Like, really enjoy. I don't do anything. Nothing. I'm not changing lives. I'm not curing cancer. I'm not, making sure shareholders are appealing to, or no, profits are appealing to shareholders. I'm not solving world peace or anything. I'm just making someone's day a bit brighter, minute at a time, and it's rewarding. Tell me what you think in the comments. If you heard something you like, hit the like button. That just lets me know that I should keep posting stuff like this, I guess. I'll probably just keep posting anyway, even if nobody's watching. All right. Thanks for listening. Really appreciate it. And if you leave something in the comments, it gives somebody else something to read. Little insights for the next person. I'll see you on the next one.